Well, well, well. It's reality and chill, and it's Kenny. Nishi, what are we going to speak about today?
All right. This episode, we are just talking about Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. We have watched the whole of season 2. We've now finished it. We covered a little bit on our previous episode, but we've watched the rest of the episodes and let's break it down. I am so
Once you mom talk, you can't stop.
you just binge it. Like I know why you watched all of the episodes, like right till the end.
It's so addictive. It is so addictive. And so, what I would love to know is how much are you up on the X feeds and, their TikToks? And because I feel like there's these kind of universes, right? So if you're like me, like somebody that's not really connected that much on social media, but loves listening to podcasts, this is how it is for me. I get to watch that, and then on a meta way, without me actually seeing it in real time, I'll hear people talk about what's happening on X or so this is like a really interesting viewing kind of experience. It's different to other things because we know that okay, these are business women that have this mom talk thing that are completely messy in their early 20s with this social media like bleeding everywhere. So it's so unique. But yeah, where do you sit on that? Like, do you see the X feeds, the TikToks, how much do you see Nish in real time?
Look, I see on TikTok a little bit and Instagram. I have been listening to a lot of podcasts, so they have been everywhere on the podcast. Like True Team in the Pod interviewed them. They were talking about it in Giggly Squad. Like it is trending.
It's blowing up. It
I
has blown up.
It has. I haven't seen like the all of the like snippets and clips on TikTok and stuff like that of what's going on. So I'm not like fully up to date with what they're saying
Right.
in the
And
universe.
so you're similar to me then. So what it is we're really into watching it. We're into the drama there, and then we kind of hear about what's happening for their specific online dramas, but via podcasts, if you know what I mean. So it's very meta. So, but I feel like where I want to go into the future, if I had enough time, which means I shouldn't really be working full time. We'll sort that out. Is that I will be watching this unfold in real time across X, across it just sounds too fun, and it's so basic and catty, but I live for it. I need to know.
Oh my gosh, can I just say, like, hats off to them. Like, this is what a great series. It actually, I stopped and I just thought about it. I was like, why is this so good? Like, you know what it goes back to? It goes back to it's a genuine group of Vanderpump. You know, you've got
Yeah,
that
three.
cast them.
I'm just going to turn it up. Sorry. You should keep on going. I couldn't hear you properly because I'm a little bit further away. All right, say that again. Yes, it's a genuine. It's a genuine group of friends. Yeah,
It's a genuine group of friends, right? So you know how like now sometimes when you have Real Housewives and stuff, they've got cast members, they don't actually know the group. This is not that. This is you've got a friend group with history. They're also new to reality, so it's so funny. You don't have it seems a little bit more again genuine, like the problems that they actually have.
and the social media savvy. The business and social media savvy. These guys are all influencers. So they're savvy in one area and yet completely like arrested development in the other. This is the best. This is for the best watching. It's really interesting because one of the podcasts I was listening to was talking about the fact that the producers, because there's so much juicy stuff in this Mormon culture. So they're living this very kind of initially clean lifestyle, but obviously with, all these kind of scandals going on in the background as well. What I heard is that the producers are actually protecting them a little bit, and we're not even seeing like
No.
a lot of the stuff come out yet. So you might see, and this is why it's interesting, I think, to do the social media stuff, because I think you'd pick up more things to have your finger on the pulse. But the time commitment, like it's a lot.
Oh, I
Like,
cannot
it's a
keep up with
lot.
TikTok. Like my sister-in-law, she's like, "Yeah, I saw this on TikTok." She's still getting through the season 2, but she's all over the TikTok clips and what's going on and who, you can see
Oh,
like
we need her. She needs to come in. This is our special guest, without a doubt, Nish. We need people that are committed there to bring them in as experts, our social media expert. That sounds great.
okay, if you're listening, which I know she will be. She's got a lot of thoughts. Um, all right, where? Okay, where to start. We have a lot to get through. Kenny, where do you think
Well, I mean, shall we? Do you want to go by character? Oh,
I
or by.
always
I know I use the term character, but or cast member, but you know, like, and I would say in this space it's even more so. So like you've got them as a human being, then you've got their mom talk kind of influencer kind of status, then you've got them doing their own kind of branding stuff. So there's like these different versions of them, I
Mhm.
feel like. And there's one that is the collective of Mom Talk. And you can see where, yeah, they're not as supportive as one would think of a girl gang, you know?
Okay, can I just say, you know what? First episode, I was saying, you know what, they're just young, they're just young. I've changed my views a little bit, and I know you were saying everything you were saying makes sense because you had watched the whole season or a lot of the season, and I'd only watched the first 3 episodes.
Yeah.
What makes sense? And I was like, no, they're just young. No, they are mean girl. Like they are real mean girls. I
It's, I want to get to the bottom of it because I was thinking about it, right? So I definitely was mean in high school. You probably never were because you're a sweetheart, but I definitely was. I went through a mean streak. But I remember when it really got out of my system is when I truly was like dancing, going clubbing, having fun, and definitely alcohol and stuff was involved, right? But that changed me from being like that type of person. It changed my head frame. And I'm thinking this clean living lifestyle means that there's something that you don't get to release into a really like different head frame. So it's kind of like, and in no way am I saying that's a great thing, but I feel like, and then them sinking things like the K or this or that, it's almost like they know that they need to get out of their own headspace a bit to think about things differently, but they're kind of stuck in this perpetual bubble, which because they're good looking, it's this thing that like they're stuck into this competitive high school drama that they never get to grow out of. That's what it feels like.
Yeah, it's like they don't go through that, or they need to go through the humbling. When you're going out, you're having, to have alcohol, and then, stuff happens, and you just like, I feel like it kind of humbles you a little bit. And you're like,
Mm.
what do you think? I don't know. Because you kind
Yeah, definitely. And I think there's something about having your whole brain chemistry altered a little bit. And obviously that can be a danger later on. But having that means you will think about your life differently. And I think it must be hard if you are just living a really clean lifestyle. That sounds really bad. But I'm just trying to work it out. How did they stay so mean for so long? These guys have like 2 to 3 kids and they're in their like mid to late 20s. And it's like, if having children didn't get you over that and you're still competitive with each other like the way you are and just ready to take each other down, like I just don't understand the psyche behind it. I'm really trying to understand, but I'm sort of grappling. I suppose I can only look at my own perspective, but there has to be some reasoning there. I really think a lot of it's got to do with being too good looking and then just becoming mean and never really growing up.
I thought it's got something also to do with, how the Mormon culture, it's all about being perfect, and I think some of them can be really self-righteous. So if someone
Good
is
point.
not in, you know, that perfect light, or they're doing something that's a little bit out of character, they just kind of tear them down. There's a lot of judgment in the Mormon culture.
Right. So I think that, no, you're quite right. It's a cultural thing within the Mormon church, which is I am the best Mormon. Because what's it like in the Christian space? It's not like that, is it?
There
Or is it a bit competitive?
Yeah, they're definitely like, okay, so there's like things that, okay, you should or shouldn't do, right? And there's always going to be people in every religion or area that's
Hey,
going to
there's grey spaces. Let's face it, there's a lot of grey out
be right.
there.
So, like, okay, in Christian culture, me being Christian, like, okay, you shouldn't drink, right? Is
Yeah.
some people that are very strict about that will judge people that do. And that happens, but it's not. I find with Christian culture, it's not as much. It's not as prescriptive. Whereas I find with the Mormon church, it's very prescriptive. Like it's like you cannot have coffee, you cannot have alcohol, you cannot do. Like, it's very
Yes.
specific, and they have. I don't. I have to actually read into it a little bit
No,
more.
you're nailing it now. You're quite right, Nish, because if you think about it, then you're getting people to follow this list of rules. So, depending on how perfect is this for an OCD personality type? Like, they would just love it because they're just like endless rules to follow. But yeah, that brings in that competitiveness. like the guilt, the shame associated with not following it all. And yeah, okay, that thank you, because like it should have been more obvious to me, but for whatever reason, it just wasn't.
That's just my initial instinct. And even when, like, for example, if you know how they say when if you get divorced in the Mormon culture, you are almost exiled from the church, exiled from the church. It's like you're in or you're out. It's
Brutal.
which is crazy. Like, there's no, I don't understand the forgiveness element there because, usually Christian values is you forgive and you move on. But this is like, even we see it in Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, Whitney, Heather, they once they're out, they get shunned. So it's kind of like
That's right.
you're
There's a lot of pressure.
you're an
Yeah.
outcast, and then they kind of tear them down a little bit. It's yeah, I don't know. It's pretty.
That's very important, and that competitiveness though, because that's what we're seeing is like women taking down women more so than any other franchise. And you're right, geographically, we can see this being around that kind of Mormon church in that area. I think like there's other areas where they might do it with shade, like Atlanta and stuff. Like there's a different kind of quirkiness, but it's not like this. This is brutal, just it's like any chance they see, like say there's a bit of blood in the water and they're going to go for the weakest link. Like it's just, it's not even like, it's like, whoa, this is really like, I think it's terrifying.
It's
Actually.
a good segue to actually start with Jen. So I was a little bit harsh with Jen in the first couple of episodes, and wow, like seeing what she went through, I
I cried.
heartbreaking. So like I'm so glad that they stopped
I
filming.
could cry thinking about it now. It's just when she was pregnant. Oh, it's the worst.
She's going through a rough time in her marriage, and then to bring a child into the world unexpectedly and having to face that, and then going through depression.
And
Um,
also having to face some parts of herself, the people pleaser part of herself, which means she does lie or she does like expand on truths or do things so that she can be, accepted or popular, which is like, okay, it's a flaw, but the way that they're creating and turning that around on her, so she's just eating herself inside out, when really all it is that you're a sweetheart trying to fit in and you need to get stronger. And their approach of just tearing her apart is not helping her. Her husband, Zach, I've fallen in love with. The way he's been so, like, I tell you what, I've never had such a flip around on somebody that I just had so much disdain for, but I'm really liking Zach. I love that he's stood by his wife. I still don't trust him completely. Like, do you get a vibe like that? Like, there might be a little element that's a bit,
Absolutely. I like
yeah,
underlying. I think he's done a lot of work
yeah.
to better himself. You can tell he's changed. It's not just words. It's
Mm.
he's had a lot of therapy and all of that sort of stuff, and he's really turned around the way he's supporting her to have to look after the kids while your wife is in this position, and even the way he comes across and he's talking to the other girls about it. He's not attacking. He's
No,
sort
he really isn't. And yeah, like it's blowing me away actually, and I think they're going to get through it. I think they're going to end up okay. So,
I
but
think
yeah, so for her, 3 kids, it was really interesting because I was looking at like how young these women are and having their children and when they had their first and stuff, and I'm starting to get into the backstory more of all of them. But yeah, I think really interesting for her, just sort of listening to part of her story of sharing her space a lot, because they had one of these families that wasn't a rich family but really lived by the principles. So for them to get ahead, it was about being as giving as possible. So then her sharing her space with her parents and stuff with other kind of kids that they were bringing in, um, because they were giving Mormons, and so they would bring in adopted kids, right? So yeah.
Well, you know who disappointed me? I don't know if it's too early to get into Demi, but the way she reacted constantly.
Demi is exactly the example of what I'm talking about of why it's so terrifying. These girls that she has a bit of poise about her. I think with Demi, she's just seeing this as a business a little bit. Like she's decided to go. It's really funny because it's just like she would do so well in the corporate world. She should have my job. She'd do great. I can't. But yeah, she's brutal and she's really yeah, really looking for that opportunity, wants to get ahead, wants to be number one, doesn't care what bodies she's got to climb over to get there. So yeah, so what happened with Jen, like, is when I turned off on her at that moment. It's interesting with her and Jessie teaming up as well, and you can see when it's girls like that and they behave like that, they also turn on each other. Like nothing's really loyal, nothing's permanent, right? Because it's like there's no true friendship there. So it's just like the first chance they can get. Like there's nothing there. It's just
It's
yeah.
not see Demi in this like in the first season. I actually I liked her. I thought she stood up for herself and all that stuff against Whitney. But now she's really it's I feel like it's really gotten to her head and a lot of the girls do say that. Like the money's gotten her to her head. Season 1 she came out as like the favorite, out of everyone. And then how funny that she comes into season 2 and they've actually I love that they're breaking the fourth wall by the way, left, right and center.
No,
So
no, it's the best. Yeah.
they talked about how
Ha-
she
When
money.
when Taylor's like, oh no,
Yeah,
I vote you. I'm not up for voting. She hasn't read the room yet. So funny.
she jumped into it. It's like because she wants to vote Taylor out. But even like when they had that conversation at dinner, like when they were away and they were talking about who wants to get paid the most or something like that. And she's like, yeah, well, and Taylor called her out and said, yeah, how come you want more money for brand deals? And she's like, well, it's no secret that I was the favorite. Like she feels entitled to get this and she wants to be top dog. And
Yeah.
I couldn't believe that she threw Jessie under the bus, like, and said, "We'll kick her out," and was so quick to kick her out potentially for season 2, just so she could get a higher pay. I was
Yeah, no, it was unbelievable. It says so much about her character. And that's what I mean. There's that business side of things. It's like, and on that business side, that would work in the corporate world. Like that type of behavior is the corporate world. That's not a group of young mums who are dancing together on TikTok. That's what I mean. Like she's trying to take a mindset of this kind of entrepreneur billionaire. You know what I mean? Like go then to the right patch. Go to a cutthroat kind of corporate space. This is a group of women that are meant to be like backing each other up. It's just so shitty. But yeah, that and how she turned on a business as well. And see what I mean about that competitive energy? Like that any chance, that sly way of bringing somebody down. Like it's brutal. It's really brutal.
no one
But that's
said
what your best friend. Why would you do that? This is a deep rooted space of like getting ahead and that competitive, like
I've not seen
it's
anything like it. That is real mean. Like to take business away from her best friend, it's just insane.
like for what? Like what does she gain from that? Well, like there's nothing, like there's one thing to say, oh okay, with the mom talk thing, I was just sort of saying, look, I'd rather have bigger cut the pie, let's let Jessie go. It's like, you can almost go, okay, callous, but a business decision. There is no, she gets nothing to gain out of that. That's cruel. That's a proper mean girl action, and it's kind of unforgivable. Like there's one thing to do with business that way, but when you're trying to take somebody down for no, like there's no benefit to yourself except taking that person down, like that's sadistic.
That's yeah, it's nasty. It's and deep to the core. Because even she had asked Layla when you know how Layla and Taylor were doing that photo shoot. She actually messaged Layla and said, "How much are you getting for this photo shoot?" Like it's happened time and time again. She is about the money and she will cut any of them down. It is sad to watch. How about her talking to Taylor's mum? So Taylor's mum rocks up to the Taylor's mum, man. She is hilarious. Can you believe she rocked up?
Taylor's mum, legend. I love her. I actually like Taylor's family, and I know that they're really like out of whack, and you know, yeah, it's not the healthiest, but it's still really cool, and I just like that she went to bat for her daughter. And yeah, I just for me, there's a certain way you should behave to parents, and it's just come on. Like I would have assumed in the Mormon culture, like any more traditional culture, that there's a certain way you behave around parents, right or wrong. It's a respect thing, and I was super surprised. But again, showing how big for her boots she's got, and the fact that she wanted to show off in front of her friends that she could take down somebody's parents. Like it was really yuck.
and doubles down. She was just like, "Oh no, there's more coming. I haven't even got my gloves off yet." I was just like, "Wow, this girl. She is like, she's gone for the jugular. She does not care."
See, and power does corrupt, and it's a really good example of where you can see that, and that's what makes Secret Lives so interesting is that it's just their second season in. They're still dealing with fame. They haven't really learned these kind of key lessons that other kind of franchises have learnt. Like how is it that they don't know that this is a trappings of going down that and that you could be up one day but down the next, and what will actually take you through season by season is actually being kind, having some type of humility. It's kind of it's great that they don't know that yet because we get to watch this play out in real time. It's yeah.
It is. It's not.
But yeah, in terms of an apex predator, like I feel like, Demi might be right up there in terms of a predator because the she's a shark. Like she's like brutal. Yeah.
Yeah, it's great TV, but mate, she is brutal. Did you see this whole thing with her and Marciano with the crossover with Vanderpump Villa?
Yeah, I've found more, well, I've heard more about that now in other podcasts and stuff. Um, yeah, I mean, for me, it's the Jesse side of things and what's going to come out there. It sounds like it's pretty full on. But yeah, I kind of, again, I mean, the, the promiscuous by nature, which I find quite surprising. It's like, you know what I mean? Like more so than, what's that about? Like, I feel like it's driven maybe from the guys initially and then the girls just get into it like the whole swingers thing. It's just hard to get my head around, but you see like when you saw a couple of guys in their swagger and stuff, you're like, that's where this has come from. It's because the guys have to settle down so young and truly they're going against their grain. So then this is just a theory, but then they're kind of convincing their girls, right? Because you can see Taylor has a lot of remorse for it, the other girls have shame. I think it's been something that the boys, being such just the culture in the Mormon church, being more patriarchy, I
Mm.
think men have a bit more, you know what I mean? And they've suddenly created this scenario where, hey, it's okay to do it. And yet the girls are just torn apart because it's not part of their value systems within the religion. That's how I read into it.
Interesting. I think that actually makes a lot of sense. I initially thought it's because they're so strict, and when you put so many restrictions on people, what do they want to do? They want to, sort of rebel from it. But at the same time, I think this is where I do agree with you that the age thing comes into play because locking them down so young and they haven't been able to do anything, they try and go around that by doing
Yeah,
swimming. I don't know. It's crazy.
yeah. It's a lot. And yeah, I think this is where, from what I can gather, the producers are like there's a lot more they know. But I think they're thinking long game. I think they're thinking like
Wow.
6, 7 seasons in. Like there's just so many storylines that they're going to be able to bring to the forefront. Like it's just
Yeah.
so they're already filming now
Oh,
for
really?
season 3. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
They're
Oh,
currently filming. And apparently they said season 2 is a warm up. Season 3 is just next level. I know.
I'm this is like literally my favorite new series. This is it's giving. Um, what do you think about? So, did you catch the hot mic? So we heard Brett, Demi's husband, talking about the potential cheating rumor, and then they were talking. They didn't realize cameras, or they were still recording the audio.
So good. It was so good. It was just like, oh my God. It was like 3 or 4 things in a row. What was it again? Take me through them again.
What she was talking about, what he was
Yeah,
talking.
like when he was on that hot mic, it was like 3 or 4 things, one after the other. And it was just like, it was the biggest scoop we'd had for like at least 3 episodes of a really like juicy kind of season. Like
Well,
this 10 seconds, like so
he
many
was.
cats out of the bag. I'm just trying to remember what they were though.
I can't remember the exact words, but basically she was just saying, "Oh, well, it sounds like someone's guilty, sounds like something that someone guilty would say." And he's just like, you know that I would never do that, right? You know that I would never do that." And then she's just like, "Well, why are you trying to prove it to me then? Like, you did this last night too, you know?" And he's like, "But I wouldn't do that. You should know that, you know?" And he's just constantly just,
There was that, but there was something else that was said as well. I'm trying to remember what it was.
I just remember that part. And then
Maybe I've got it wrong.
there might be something else. But
What
in
was his name again?
Brett, I just can't help but think he looks like a cartoon character. I don't know what it is about his jaw, and he looks like Mr. Incredible.
Yeah, Roger Ramjet. He's our man, like that.
Johnny Bravo Squid.
He's like Captain American. Yeah.
Yes. Anyway, do you think he did it?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. A lot of people say yes and no. Did he do it? I don't know. Initially, I was like, nah, surely not. But I don't know. He's acting so sus.
Yeah.
And I think she obviously knows it. Demi versus.
I won't go into that because it could go down a rabbit hole. So I could be wrong there and thought it was more than he said. But so shall we chat about Taylor? Because I mean, this is for me a big part of this is when the girls just didn't support her. I think she was completely right. She's calling it out as she sees it. You guys kind of, it's weird that radio silence when I've just posted about something public, and it's true. Privately doesn't get you off the, like, it doesn't get you off this right now. It's like showing publicly that you support me. Like, she's completely accurate. I love how she responded. I love how she came clean with it as well. Like, everything she did, like, was so on point. I love her so much. What were your thoughts there with that whole kind of, yeah, hoo-ha?
I think her gut feeling was right, right? These girls are on their phones 24/7.
Oh,
It
she's 100% right, yeah.
is, right? They're on TikTok, they're on this, they're constantly recording, posting. I I think I don't think all of them weren't supportive. I don't know. I was in two minds about this actually because I thought maybe like majority of them probably didn't support, but I definitely think that some of them would have. I don't know. I can't. I reckon some of them would have been supportive, but they just didn't see the post because it was Thanksgiving weekend and stuff like that. But some of them, like I think, like I don't think Michaela and Macy would have ignored it. I would hope not. Maybe that's me being naive. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean it's possible either way, but I just feel girls like that who are obsessed would not, it was like 12 hours or something, wasn't it? So like there's just no way. In a 12-hour period, there's no way.
Yeah, maybe. I think you're right. I mean, yeah.
No, there's no way. She called it, or nobody just owned it. Because what would have been really great would have been one of them to say, you know, you're right. I don't know why I do that. I think maybe I don't always support you publicly because I feel like you don't do me. And I think one of the girls kind of said it and said, look, I can't remember the last time you commented on one of my posts. And then, so then they could sort of have a conversation. So, yeah, maybe we're doing a bit of tit to tat. And that's not great given that we could all win together, you know, like we're mum top. We should actually, regardless of what's happening personally between us, we should actually have a business acumen and publicly being supporting each other and then privately being bitchy. That would be a much better conversation, you know, like, but
I think
yeah.
yeah, they don't have some sort of agreement like when things I guess maybe it's like an unwritten rule that you do support it. I mean that's they should be support. I don't know. I do think she was a bit quick she shouldn't this is me thinking. She was a bit too quick to go on and post and just call it out. In my opinion, like give it a little bit longer.
No, she's fiery. She is a firecracker, 100%. But she is Taylor, you know. Like these, this is what I love. That this is the Lindsay Hubbards, the Taylors, you know. It's like I like somebody that's honest and quick to react, also quick to forgive and quick to apologize. I think you know the Ramona apologizer. These things as well makes reality TV. Like you know, talking of your number one favorite, but yeah, it's great. It's like because you know the reaction is real. You know, somebody that's just so emotionally steady that they're not going to react and they're not going to take it personally means there is no drama because I'll just not say anything. But the fact is, she's actually right, and I love it. And maybe more people need to be owning that because you're calling out people's shit behaviour, and it was shit. And then there might be a reason it's shit, and then can we talk about that? Then we'd get to the root cause. and then you might actually get some growth. But otherwise, the passive way of not saying anything is not going to change behaviors.
not. I think I would,
Yeah,
okay, hold on. What you should have maybe messaged the girls and say, hello, why did no one comment on my post? That's the way I was thinking about it. Like, should she have gone out to
definitely.
girls and said it to everyone? Oh, the girls are not, because that just creates an absolute tsunami.
So, no, this is it. No, that's exactly what she should have done. That would have been the right thing to
But
do. But it did work.
yeah, and it's also not interesting. But look, I like that she owns it. She's like, yeah, that was kind of crappy of me to do.
Yeah.
Like, and she did. That's what I love about her. And like you said, she's quick to forgive, and that's one of her great qualities. But her chaos is what makes it. Like, so you know how? So afterwards, Demi talks about, we can't trust her in Mum Talk. She's chaotic wherever she goes. She's chaotic. But it's like that's kind of how this Mum Talk was born. Like, it was born from the scandal, and who brought it to light? It was
It's
Taylor.
what the people want.
It is. I'm sorry.
That's what the people want. Shut the F up, Demi. Like,
But she was a
stop
cousin.
ruining our magic. What do you think we're doing on a Tuesday night at, 6 o'clock,
Exactly.
cuddling our cats? We're watching you guys being ridiculous. Like, give the people what they want.
It goes. We're not going to have that, and that's what makes it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
with her, with the end when they were doing the vote, and they were just talking about the whole Taylor situation. I was actually a bit shocked that no one spoke up a bit more to back Taylor up. Did you notice that?
Yeah, I definitely noticed that. I think Taylor's used to this now. She knows that it's kind of her again. Particularly, I was disappointed with Whitney and Miranda. Is it the two newbies or the ones that were trying to come back? Whitney trying to come back because she did have their back, and like you can just see that's what I mean. There is no loyalty. This is a brutal, brutal space. Like there's no. I don't know if I've really seen any true friendship. Like it's dog eat dog. Like Taylor stands alone. She's got a mum, which is good.
Yeah. Yeah.
and yeah. But yeah, I mean Macy's still my favourite because Macy could sort of just, she's got the humility. She manages to sort of keep it moving, friends with everybody. She's great.
Yeah.
Um,
Love
but
seeing.
yeah, even Macy didn't really stick up. Like nobody really sort of said,
They all needed to say something. I was shocked that they didn't say anything. Like, because Demi's like, well, don't you think, she's chaotic and da da da. No one wants to stand up to Demi, even though they're all thinking it, and they all say it in their confessionals, and they all say it to each other when Demi's not there. It's like they're scared of her or something. They just go mute. I was like, someone say something. Hello.
I really want to know how Demi's going now, like what her popularity is like, and like how many, how good it was for her or not.
No, apparently, Julie, my sister-in-law, was saying that she noticed that Jesse and Demi they're either not friends on social media, so they've clearly drifted, and that's actually continued.
They've all followed each other again, apparently. I heard that hot off the press this morning.
Oh my God.
This is why we need Julie to come in and do like a special intro, and she can sort of fill us in. That is so funny. So, and I really love Layla as well.
I don't know. She kind of annoys me because I like her because she's starting to find her own. She is realizing that she was under Demi's spell a bit. And she's opening up her eyes, but she goes so quiet in front of everyone. And I'm like, she's
No,
trying,
it is true. No backbone. But
she's
you
got,
can understand why. Look what happened to Jen. Like these guys are like it's scary. Like they are like they're in post traumatic stress, right? Like,
I know, I shouldn't laugh, but it's true.
but it is true. Yeah. I mean, I can't wait for season 3 now.
I mean, Layla is actually the youngest one. She's 23. She's
Amazing.
the other ones
I
are a bit.
think there was who was I looking at today? So like I really love Michaela. Is it Michaela? Let me get
Well,
it
I
up.
love Michaela as
So
well.
Michaela, do you know she was pregnant at 16 with her first? And then, so she married her guy. She's got such an interesting backstory. So she married her Mormon boyfriend, who was 21 at the time. So she dropped out of school and everything, and then went and had children, and she's still with her hubby. But I mean, what an incredible backstory. So Yeah, I mean, for her as well, just heartbreaking, the whole sexual abuse stuff and everything that went on. And yeah, so she's gone into a couple of in-depth podcasts there about like some of the therapy and everything, but just her backstory and just how strong she is, and she's so gorgeous. I absolutely love Michaela. I absolutely love her.
I think she's one of my favorites. I loved seeing her more vulnerable side this season. A
Yeah.
little bit more about her life. Because yeah, it just explains a little bit of how she is. I think she really tries to stand up for who she is. She keeps people accountable. She sets her boundaries. Like with Whitney, she's like, no, that doesn't work for me. And I love that about her. I think her confessionals are really good and funny as well. Like she's
Whitney the turncoat.
okay. So we should talk about Whitney, shouldn't we?
Yeah. I mean, we did touch on it last time. There's not much I have to add because I think I think Whitney is just she's just not a girl's girl. But she is interesting to watch. I will give her that.
Yeah, I think. Look, I couldn't stand her at the start of the season. I was like, because I didn't. Obviously, last season you go, oh my gosh, who is this girl? And then she's tried to come back in. Kind of a part of me goes, oh, she's weaseled her way back in, and they voted her in, and does she deserve it? I don't know.
That's how I felt as well. I felt exactly the same way. I think for me as well, unfortunately, I'm now like such a Taylor fan that it does now cloud me. I have a bias. I have a Taylor bias, and I'm no longer going to look at the cast the same or anything the same because I'm such a massive Taylor fan. Like that's the truth of it. Like I am with Lindsay, like I am with all these other kind of characters. Like once I see their heart, particularly if they stand alone, which she does against adversity and just keeps on pushing through. Like she has my heart. Like I literally feel, oh, we are one. She's brilliant. So yeah, so that means that the Whitneys of the world or anybody that crosses Taylor, like you're going to be on my bad list now.
Yeah, I mean, I'm watching, waiting for see Taylor because I just think, I mean, not Taylor, Whitney. If she does something again, then the girls will learn. I
Well,
think.
she did though. I thought she did that when she was signing with Demi on that final episode. Like she literally after Taylor actually treated her quite well, tried to bring her back in. Like I was just like, wow, she saw an opportunity there to just get rid of Taylor, side with Demi. And you could see her actively pushing Demi up as well, like to try and get her into. So she was like the sly kind of
Snake. She's Snake.
yeah, she was. And she's on the trying to get Demi to do the dirty work, right? And in the background, she's trying to promote it and get it to behave that way to her own detriment.
Mm,
And she was hoping for Taylor's, but now it's all in the open, Whitney. Again, we've just seen you're a snake.
exactly. And I felt like she couldn't afford to say anything. So Demi was the mouthpiece. She was, she had to fly a little bit under the radar because she knew she was on the chopping block still.
She was a sniper at the back.
Absolutely was, and seeing her facial reactions says everything as well. Like you just
Yeah.
like why she looks. I don't know. I have a bad taste in my mouth, and this is where I back Michaela 100%. Michaela's still a no on Whitney, and she's been outvoted. But watch this space. She said that.
Yeah, very cool. Very, very cool.
Um,
Love it.
yeah. Who else have we got? Um, Jessie, what do you think of Jessie and how she has moved throughout this season? Because she starts off being mean girl with Demi, and then by the end of it, their friendship.
I've always kind of liked Jessie, like I've never thought she was like a really like super mean girl, but I think Jessie is a bit messy and I think messy Jessie is very accurate, particularly after the Vanderpump Rules stuff, right? Or
Very popular.
yeah, the villa, Vanderpump Villa or whatever. So I think there's going to be more that comes out about that. But it doesn't sound great for her end. So here she was like throwing stones and really she's made herself incredibly vulnerable now. Whereas if she just sort of stayed underground a bit, just got on with having fun, make your videos, do your dance videos, bring your kids out. There's so much cool stuff you could be doing. Why are you attacking people like Jen? Yes, it's not going to be pretty for her. I think next season's going to be a real tough one for Jessie.
I'm sad for her. I don't, is there proof that it actually happened though? Because that guy Marciano, he's like a Jax 2.0. I don't know if I trust him. I don't know. I don't know. What's out there?
Well, well, it's interesting because I just heard of a podcast. So, how is this for Meta? It was a recording of oh God, what's the name? It was Sheena talking, who's friends with him, right? So Sheena was talking on a podcast, and it was another podcast that had recorded that podcast that I was listening to.
Yeah. Okay.
I was looking back at you to see you looking back at me to see you looking back at me. So anyway, so very meta. So podcast of a podcast of a podcast, and in that, what I kind of learned is that he told Sheena that they absolutely and showed Sheena the messages on his phone in real time of what was going on between him and Jesse. Then Jesse comes that morning to breakfast and completely denied everything, and he covered for Jesse in that breakfast. But Sheena saw the whole messages that night. So it was just generally, he was like, yeah, well, I knew that there was some swinging history, so I didn't know. So I just I took her on face value. And if she said it was okay, it was okay. And he'd actually shown how he'd messaged, said, hey, but you've got a husband, right? And she's like, no, it's fine. And so she was playing, yeah. And so those text messages Sheena saw, and she has the full story. So yeah,
What
that's,
podcast is this? I need to listen to it.
yeah, I don't know. I can't remember. So I think I did it on, it was a podcast today. I think it was Bravo News that then did a recording of this other podcast.
Oh my goodness, we need to get on top of it. That's sad if that actually happened.
I
I was
know.
by Marciano, to be honest. I was
There
like,
is that Bravo Investigator podcast. So she's a Canadian chick. And so then she goes and listens to all the other podcasts. But that's what I need. I need somebody,
to report.
while I'm still working, which, hopefully I can commit more time to this ongoing. But right now, things like work get in the way.
It's so annoying. Um, okay, yeah, interesting. I was hoping that it wouldn't be true, to be honest. That's quite sad. Anyway,
Well, it is Sheena, so who knows for sure.
Sheena is just getting in there, let me say. Anyway,
Oh
uh,
my God, I can't wait until we wrap up on the Valley and Summer House. I know that's a different episode to today, but
that's it.
I have
I know,
so much to say about that.
same. Well, do we have anything else before we wrap up with today's episode on Secret Lives? What else do we have to cover? Have we missed anything?
I I feel like there's it's a great wrap up. It's a great way to wrap up the season, but just sort of noting that, yeah, depending on where you're at, depending on how much social media you consume, and both me and you not, you can imagine for somebody that doesn't even listen to podcasts and is just watching reality TV, which is like me 5 years ago, you could have three people on the couch watching the same show and having really different experiences because of how much or how little podcasting or social media they have awareness of. And I think the deeper you go, the richer that reality TV experience would be.
Yeah. Well, maybe we get Julie on next just to give her two
Oh,
cents.
I'd love that. Yeah, that would be a lot of fun.
But yeah, this season, you know what? I love it. I think this is a great new series. I'm all for it. Yeah, it's full on. To be honest, Demi is the new villain this season, and I think she's gonna have have a reality check before next season. It's gonna be really
Yeah.
interesting to see how if
Yeah, I agree with that. I think this series has longevity. Like, think about it. These are women in their 20s. We know that women in their 40s are actually the most fun to watch, sometimes in their 50s, and in the case of Ramona, her 60s. You know what I mean? Like, so think we've got like 40 years. I hope I stay alive now. Like, part of the reason I'm looking after my health and wanting to get to my 90s is so that I can watch these women who are already nuts in their 20s, like, really get to the peak in their 50s. Because come on, we know how this stuff works. It's such a joy. Like, thank you. Thank you.
this is
Oh, amazing.
alrighty. So let's wrap up there. Thanks for tuning in to our
Thanks, Nishi. You're a legend. Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.